Well, thank you for joining me for another day of the Daily Bible Chapter. Today is March the 22nd of 2022, and today we're reading Deuteronomy chapter 20. And Deuteronomy chapter 20 talks about the principles governing warfare. And I think that's interesting, knowing that the news is telling us that we're on the precipice of World War III here. That today we're going to talk about the principles governing warfare. So let's get into it. When you go out to battle against your enemies and see horses and chariots and people more numerous than you, do not be afraid of them, for the Lord your God is with you, who brought you up from the land of Egypt. So it shall be, when you are on the verge of battle, that the priest shall approach and speak to the people, and he shall say to them, Hear, O Israel, today you are on the verge of battle with your enemies. Do not let your heart faint, do not be afraid, and do not tremble or be terrified because of them. For the Lord your God is he who goes with you, to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. Then the officers shall speak to the people, saying, What man is there who has built a new house and has not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle and another man dedicate it. Also, what man is there who has planted a vineyard and has not eaten of it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle and another man eat of it. And what man is there who is betrothed to a woman and has not married her? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle and another man marry her. The officers shall speak further to the people, and say, What man is there who is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return to his house, lest the heart of his brethren faint like his heart. And so it shall be, when the officers have finished speaking to the people, that they shall make captains of the armies to lead the people. When you go near a city to fight against it, then proclaim an offer of peace to it, and it shall be that if they accept your offer of peace and open to you, then all the people who are found in it shall be placed under tribute to you and serve you. Now if the city will not make peace with you, but war against you, then you shall besiege it. And when the Lord your God delivers it into your hands, you shall strike every male in it with the edge of the sword. But the women, the little ones, the livestock, and all that is in the city, all its spoil, you shall plunder for yourself, and you shall eat the enemy's plunder which the Lord your God gives you. Thus you shall do to all the cities which are very far from you, which are not of the cities of these nations. But of the cities of these people, which the Lord your God gives you as an inheritance, you shall let nothing that breathes remain alive. But you shall utterly destroy them, the Hittite and the Amorite and the Canaanite and the Perizzite and the Hivite and the Jebusite, just as the Lord your God has commanded you, lest they teach you to do according to all their abominations which they have done for their gods, and you sin against the Lord your God. When you besiege a city for a long time, while making war against it to take it, you shall not destroy its trees by wielding an axe against them. If you can eat of them, do not cut them down to use in the siege, for the tree of the field is man's food. Only the trees which you know are not trees for food you may destroy and cut down to build siege works against the city that makes war with you, until it is subdued. Deuteronomy chapter 20. And I was reading through there, just a couple of thoughts came to my mind. One, and I've talked about this before in previous chapters, where, like, it's verse 17, it says, But you shall utterly destroy them. And I have this vision, if you will, like when I read that, I think like completely get rid of everything that shows that they were a people. I mean, that's like normally, I guess, in my mind, a war goes on, you get rid of the leaders of it so the war stops, and then kind of life goes on. But those old ways of life continue to have a place, and they continue to take form and continue to grow. And be passed down, and God doesn't want any kind of abomination to be passed down. And I think that's for our own good, so that we are not subject to that. I mean, I think if we're going to be completely honest with ourselves, in this world that we live in, we are bombarded every day with abominations and things that would be unpleasing to God. And some days we can overcome those, and some days we don't. And it is a battle. And could that be because maybe we weren't listening to God and we didn't get rid of everything? We didn't utterly destroy it? And the other thing, that was one thought. The other thing that kind of stood out to me as I was reading, and I don't know that I fully understand it and took the time to fully think about it, was don't cut down a fruit-bearing tree to use to siege the town, to take it over. Only a tree that would not grow food. That seems logical to me. Like I said, this isn't a fully fleshed out thought, but it was interesting to me. But it seems logical that you don't want to give up your food sources, because you need energy to fight these wars and these battles. But it also would seem logical that you would take any tree that's nearby if you needed a tree to finish finish sieging the city. So I don't know, but that stood out to me as, leave the fruit-bearing trees. And at this point, I haven't researched it, but I would assume that so that you can have food and energy to keep going, and, that God would provide the other trees. God told us a lot of times to stay away from certain things. And I think a lot of those times were ways for Him to show us and prove to us and allow us to trust Him and know that He would provide for our needs. So if you're in the middle of battle and you need a weapon, and you see the fruit tree there and you can't have that, then you're going to start crying out to God and say, God, we need something. We're going to lose this battle or whatever. And it's a way, I think, that God is saying, trust me, I can get you through this. You may not see it, and you may not understand how you will get through this battle without this tree, but I can get you through anything. I don't need that tree. So anyway, I may be making more out of that than what's really there, but it stood out to me when I was reading, as important. So anyway, that's Deuteronomy chapter 20. Hope you'll join me tomorrow.